Welcome back to this Tomahawk. I'm Mike. I got my line mate Matt with me. Forgive my voice. I'm a little sick. Oh my gosh. I'm watching the Hawks play Vancouver live right now. They just got in Vancouver just scored 2 quick goals. Looks like it's all defensemen. Quinn Hughes scored the first one. Tyler Myers the second one.
What's
Matt,
up with that dude's neck?
Who's
Like, I think his parents were like part giraffe. You see that kid's neck, Myers?
Tyler Myers?
He's a freak.
He's just a tall dude, man. I think he's like 6'8" or something.
He's
or
the old
6'6".
Toys R Us mascot. Sending that shitty gum to all those kids back in the day.
Yeah, that hard ass gum.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, man. He just scored the same way that Quinn Hughes did, glove side. Anyways, so one thing I wanted to bring up is Bedard's face-off percentage has gotten better over the past couple months. February is like 45%. In March so far, it's been 50%, which is huge. You know, he's been playing center, and you know it helps if centers can win faceoffs. And you know what? This is kind of a controversial subject because I'm more of an old school type of guy. I believe that you need centers on your team that can win faceoffs. You win faceoffs, you keep possession. You keep possession, you get more scoring chances. But nowadays, it seems like the NHL is kind of going into the this realm of you could play center and it doesn't matter if you win faceoffs or not. Kind of like Jack Hughes, his faceoff percentage has been brutal his whole career. I think it's like 35% every year. I'll look it up again, but I'm pretty sure it's at like 35%. Matt, do you see this trend of these players playing center but they can't win a faceoff to save their life?
Well, I just saw that with Bedard last season. I think it was a really big wake up call. Wow, this is poor kid has to take a draw against Sidney Crosby, his first game. One of the best.
Clearly set winning that one.
Yeah, but hey, let me ask you this. What's the most important thing about overtime?
Winning faceoffs to keep possession.
Winning that first faceoff.
Right.
If you control that first possession, I wonder what the stat is, but if I want the team that wins that first faceoff, I wonder how many wins that team got because of that. And we see it a lot. Unless there's a bad mistake, the team goes the other way. But, I feel confident when you got a center who can win a draw, especially in OT. Okay, we got the bigger advantage here to win. So, it's very important.
So, in Jack Hughes' first season, his faceoff percentage was 36%. And 5 years later, it's 37%. So, I'm not sure if this is something that he's worked on. Clearly not.
No,
I'm just one of those dudes, man. I just believe that if you're a center, you should be out there trying to win draws.
Yeah, you got to take pride in it. Like Taves did, Bergeron, Stevie Y, Sid, all those guys were just they played the complete responsibility. They did all the complete responsibilities of a center. And being good in your own zone is another thing they have to take a lot of pride in, and hopefully Connor gets that down too. Yeah.
I wanted to talk about Leveshinov and Korchinski. I think Lev looked good his first game. He's clearly, first couple games in the NHL, it's a learning experience. He's been playing great in the A, but the NHL is a completely different dog. And you know what, man? He was taking shots, which I like to see. I like to see him taking shots. I like to see him taking chances. He moved the puck pretty well. But one thing that I noticed is that Korchinski, I think, is a much better skater than he is. And Korchinski can pass and move the puck very well as well. So, I was just, watching on Twitter, and some guys, it seems, think that because we have Lev, we don't need Korchinski. And, when the Hawks were winning, we had one year we had Dunks, and then we had Soupy. And then for the other 2 cups, we had Dunks and we had Oduya, and both of them were puck-moving defensemen, and we had 2 of them. And I think that with Leveshinov and Korchinski both being able to move the puck, why not keep them both?
I don't understand that. I don't think Korchinski would be the odd man out at all. I think if anything, he's ahead of Leshinov. I think they're being very careful with Korchinski, and he's playing meaningful games like we talked about before. And I think eventually a lot of these kids are going to be sent back down to play meaningful games if Rockford does make the playoffs.
Yeah, kind
But
of like an update with Rockford. Everybody, I think they're like two. I think they're like 2 points out of a playoff spot, and they're on a heater right now. Drew Comesso is like 4-0 in his last 4 games. We'll get into that in a little bit. But Korchinski and Nolan Allen are both down there playing meaningful minutes, meaningful time. Getting that experience of being on a team that is going for a playoff push, because I would think within the next at least 2 years, this Hawks team is going to be looking to try to make the playoffs at some point. And we need guys who have experience knowing what it feels like to go out there and try to win every game so that you can win, make the playoffs. I agree with you. I think that Korchinski isn't the odd man out. I think that he's going to make the roster out of camp next year.
he should have been on the team this year. But
yeah, I
we
think
had
that
too
he
many
should have too.
guys committed money.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's a good thing. I mean, he's getting more time down there. But back to that statement about your puck moving defenseman. In a perfect world, you'd like to have 3 of them on your lineup every night, and then you got your studs staying at home like Vlasic, Allen, and maybe I don't know what you considered Crevier, but I like him. I think he could be a mean stay-at-home kind of defenseman, but he could also score. He's got a good shot. He'd put up some good numbers, but I mean those are the 3 guys I look at, and then you got your Korchinski puck mover. You got who's the other kid? I'm sorry, Leshinov. That's 2 good ones, and maybe on your last pair you want a penalty kill specialist, a power play guy, kind of right in that last pairing. Because a lot of these guys, like Murphy's not going to be around. Martinez is here on a 1-year deal, I think, only. So there's going to be a big youth movement next year, and I think the defense is going to be like under the age of 26, which it should be. I think it's time.
Yeah, I think Del Maestro and probably Crevier might round out that last pairing. I think Del Maestro has kind of like Vlasic a little bit, kind of snuck his way onto the up the ranks, and I think that he's gotten better as time has gone on. I think that he's been a really good player. I think Nolan's going to be. What's that?
Kaiser. That's the guy that might be the odd man out, but
I think that he is going to be the odd man out. He can play, but the problem is that he has a consistency issue, and. You know what, man? Wyatt Kaiser reminds me of Nicholas Bowden.
Where that guy fell off the face of the earth. There
are games where he looks really, really good, and then there's other games where he looks lost. And I think his consistency is an issue, and I see him being the odd man out, especially with all these other guys coming up out of nowhere like Crevier. I think Crevier has played good in his time with the Hawks and what he's done. But,
I like him. I think he needs a long look. I think next year should be a long look for him.
Okay. For Crevier, like what?
I would like to see him top 4 and maybe a penalty kill type of guy. And like I said, a perfect world, you got your stud stay-at-home Vlasic with either Korchinski or Leshinov, whatever you decide. But Leshinov might need another year in the A too.
Yeah.
He might need to go down, and maybe you got a guy, you sign a free agent or something. I keep hearing Aaron Ekblad. I like the player. I do. I just don't like the age, and these guys want to cash out with term, and it's not the right time. And I don't know, but I would stay with the youth movement, especially on D. Now that we got a really good goalie, honestly, Soderblom has been very good this year.
Yeah.
Our goaltending has been the best trait of the Blackhawks. Not Connor Bedard, but Spencer Knight stands on his head every game. I mean, this guy, he's the goalie that could steal you a game when your team shits the bed and doesn't show up. That's something the Hawks haven't had since Crawford, and which is exciting. That's what you want. A guy who could bail you out. Young defenseman can make mistakes. This guy could bail you out and make you look good still. So that in the perfect world, I would like to see a youth movement, especially on D. Hope the Hawks spend a little money and get the big dog free agent. I won't say his name, but That's what I'm hoping for next season.
I think Murphy, and do you believe Dickinson is someone that we should keep around?
I don't mind him. I think he's a solid two-way guy. I don't really see much else. I know they slapped an A on him saying he's a good leader, but I feel like they do that with all the old guys on the team. I guess he's considered one of the old guys, and he's not even that old.
Yeah.
He's not a bad player, but I mean, if there's a young guy that you can bring up and you think he's got more potential than him, yeah, maybe you got to move him. But problem is Davidson, he overpays these guys. He got very lucky with Mrazek. And
Yeah.
I think he got a win in his first game back with Detroit. Pretty cool to see against Buffalo. I mean, it's Buffalo, but still. Foligno, he overpaid him because of the whole leadership thing. I don't know how I feel about that still. But
We had the space, man. We have to hit the
yeah,
cap floor.
I get it, but those are the contracts that get tough to move when you're trying to. You got guys in the wings ready to go, and it's
Yeah.
like, I can't move this guy. It's like that Brody signing. Like, what are you thinking,
Yeah.
dude?
I don't know what they were thinking about
It's
that
just
one.
stuff that you got to be careful with that. Falling in love with a mid-tier guy and giving him money, it's just it'll come back and haunt you.
Drew Commesso looks to be taking the signing of Spencer Knight personally, not literally, but he's on a 4-0 heater down in the A. And you know what, man? I think him and Soderblom might possibly be competing for a backup role next year. What do you think of that?
Well, the way Soderblom's been playing, man, you got to consider him a 1B. Like, I don't even
Sure.
consider him a number 2 guy. He's been really good. And I was talking to somebody weeks ago. I'm like, dude, Soderblom that's his crease. That's not Mrazek's anymore. That used to be the thing. Like, that's still Mrazek's crease. And it's like, yeah,
Right.
you're right. But no, that's not this year. He took it over, and he's had some big games. And the team, usually when he has a really good game, the team can't score. And the poor guy, he stands on his head and still can't get the win. But
Yeah.
Spencer Knight's a clearly a better goalie. He's got a Stanley Cup ring already. He's got that, he's already got the winning pedigree in him. He's competitive. And I love that first game. They give him the shoulder pad thing, like the MVP of the game, according to the guys. And he had a really good speech. He's like, hey, I'm ready to win here. We're going to be eventually winning. He sounded like a good leader. And that's something you don't see with goalies. Usually goalies are like this, sitting in the locker room with their head down, being weird people like me, not saying anything, staring their eyes, like doing whatever it is they got to do to get ready for a game. But he looks like a guy you're going to lean on and look for leadership in the locker room, which is rare for goaltending, actually. So I really like that.
Now that the Hawks are kind of building this from the ground out, I like to compare New Jersey because they were a similar team that, building it from the ground out, looking to make, specific moves. And one of the moves that they needed to make and everyone was calling them to make was to sign Timo Meier a few years ago.
Ouch.
And, they've got Jack Hughes. But it seems like the way that this team is built, like they can't seem to keep the forward momentum going without Jack Hughes in the lineup. It's almost as if it's once he's out, like their hopes are done. And building a team, I think that it's important that one guy, when you lose that one guy, it shouldn't tank like your whole squad. I mean, you can even take Edmonton as an example. When McDavid went down, Draisaitl didn't skip a beat. He still produced, still kept the team going. That's an example of having a team where other guys can pick up the slack or what have you and do that. And I think that Davidson needs to take that into account as he's building this squad, which I kind of think that he is. I think there are some secondary guys that were looking to come up and play a bigger role that could do that it won't be all on Bedard. But do you see like what's going on in New Jersey, that it completely falls apart without Jack Hughes? Timo Meier was a 40-goal scorer when he came over. and he's not scoring 40 goals anymore. And they
Your old or broken phone can let you down. But at Verizon, trade in any old phone from our top brands and get iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence with a new line on My Plan and iPad and Apple Watch Series 10. After all, you don't want your old phone to die on you when you're lost.
Perfect.
Or for your broken phone to glitch at the worst possible time.
Hey, can I get your number? Oh.
Trade in your old phone for a brand new iPhone 16 Pro, iPad, and Apple Watch. Visit Verizon.com today. Additional terms apply. Service plan required for Apple Watch and iPad.
paid him a lot of money.
Yeah, that first season, well, a lot of the goals were with the Sharks, and he got that lot of ice time, and he was like the guy there for a while. Him and Erik Karlsson were doing their thing. I like what they did with getting Jacob Markstrom at the beginning of the season. They finally got that goalie.
Yeah.
He got hurt. They had some problems. Dougie Hamilton, the guy, I think I sent you a text Friday. I think he played 82 games once, and he had really good numbers for a defenseman. He goes down a lot. And Jack Hughes, I feel like the big three, I guess you could call them the top dogs in each of the positions. They go down. The team is like, they just, I know I see them winning, but those are three key guys. You're not going to win anything without those three guys. You're not going to win anything without Jack Hughes.
Right.
So, yeah, and they paid a lot. I see Frank the Tank all the time. He's a Devils fan, and he goes off on Timo Meier. He bites his shirt, and he is screaming about Timo Meier. What a horrible signing, and it's looking like it is. I mean, I credit the Devils for going for it, but
Yeah.
they paid him all this money like right away.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been good.
What did they give him? $9 million?
Something like that, and it's
$9 million a year.
That's a lot of money for a guy who I don't even know how many goals he has. I don't even think
19
he's a fantasy
this year.
guy. How many?
19.
Yeah, he's supposed to be like a 40-goal guy. So realistically, you'd think he'd be closer to around 30 right now.
Yeah.
So
He scored 30. He scored 40 one time. Scored 35 the year before that.
Yeah.
He scored 30 three times, then 22 and 12, and then 40, and then he had 28 last year and 19 this year. 52 points, 44 points. I mean,
That's not good enough for the guy you brought in to be one of the guys. So
he's supposed to be like your power forward, you know?
Yeah. But
so this is what the Blackhawks need to avoid.
Yeah, you need another stud in each position. It seems like I like what the Devils did. They signed Sheldon Keefe to be their coach.
Yeah.
He was the scapegoat because Toronto just the players. Well, let's see what they do this year with a new coach. They could be the same, but he's a good coach. Dude. I thought they were going to win. I picked them to win the division. I think at the rate they were going, they could have done it. But I don't know what you do. Like, do you still compete to try to make the playoffs with these guys, or do you just kind of just say, "Hey, let's hit the reset button. We'll try again next year."
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to do.
I don't think they have a choice. Like, get healthy, get everybody healthy, make sure no one gets hurt. Just take it easy. And Jacob Markstrom had a good season. I have him in fantasy, and once he went down, I knew my goaltending, I'm screwed. But I picked up Spencer Knight right away, and he got me 2 wins quick. And I like the comparable, like with the Devils and the Hawks, because you got your top dog. You got, like, Jack Hughes was the piece they were going to start building around. But I will say that the Devils had some players in the system already.
Yeah,
that's
they
something
did.
we didn't have. Connor was like ground zero.
Yeah.
But look at Jack's numbers. They were terrible till his third season, and Connor's are really good. He's a point-a-game guy still. And even you got guys like Nathan McKinnon praising him, like, I would kill for those numbers. That's a good thing. And he's still young. We forget. The kid's barely got any hair on him. It's crazy. So we got to just be patient. And, yeah, you can learn a lot from these other teams. Like, the good thing is Jack Hughes doesn't make a lot of money. And you got to consider him he's a top dog in the league still. He doesn't seem the brightest guy, but he's definitely a top dog in the league. And I enjoyed watching him in that the Four Nations until the championship game when it started getting crazy. Even against Canada, he
couldn't stay on his skates.
He looks scared shitless.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's still young too. We forget these guys are still young. So it's gonna take some time. I thought they would win the division with no problems, but you never know with injuries. And
I was anticipating Timo Meier being that power forward that they needed.
Yeah.
And I think that the Blackhawks need a power forward like Timo Meier, like Brady Tkachuk, somebody that's big that could shoot the puck, go into the corners and bang it out down there.
I would like getting a stud like Mitch Marner and then trading for a stud like Tkachuk just to shock everybody. It's like, okay, we're freaking serious. Youth movement's coming. We got 2 top dogs. Look the fuck out. That's what I would like.
Yeah, man. Just to close out on New Jersey, I think that they have a lot of promise, but I think that they need to retool a little bit, mainly their goaltending. I do like Markstrom, but how old is Markstrom?
I think he's in his mid-30s.
Yeah,
but he can steal games, man. He
can, but they need to get another guy in there.
Well, they got Jake Allen backing him up.
He's like another 35-year-old guy.
Yeah, they had Mackenzie Blackwood, don't forget.
Yeah.
They traded him to the Sharks. And, Colorado, I think, did the best at the deadline. Even before the deadline, they didn't like their goaltending. They shipped off Georgiev. And they got Mackenzie
Blackwood. They went
Blackwood.
in on him too, man.
Mackenzie Blackwood's a very good goalie, and it's hard to imagine if he was just on bad New Jersey Devils teams. They were still like us, starting to build and figuring it out. If they had him, they'd be in good, really, really good shape right now.
How do you feel about Vancouver? They've gone through this. Last season, they were a game away from making it to the Western Conference Finals. This year, they had nothing but issues. Quinn Hughes has gotten hurt. And actually, with New Jersey, Jack Hughes has had has had a shoulder injury on the same shoulder 2 times within a year's time frame. They need to keep this kid healthy, man. And how do they do that?
Shut him down for the year. I still think they're realistically could be in a playoff spot. I think it's close still for them. Dude, Calgary, they're Wolf. The kid's a stud.
Dustin Wolf?
Yeah, I think he's going to be Rookie of the Year. I think a goalie should get the Rookie of the Year. Celebrini's good. Yeah, cool. First round pick, whatever. Lane Hudson's a stud, but you take Wolf off that team, the Flames are right at the bottom with us and the Sharks and maybe Nashville. But that kid's definitely the stud. But going back to Vancouver, you got rid of the problem, JT Miller. Maybe he wasn't the problem. Trying to get maybe Pettersson's head right and really hasn't. He hit 100 points. He was they thought, everyone said he was a superstar. I thought he was a really good player. He's just not there this year. It's not working out. Thatcher Demko, stud goalie, gets hurt a lot, man. They signed Lincoln in $925K a year, whatever it was. He ends up getting a 6-year extension. What does that tell you? Is Demko's injury serious? Are they really worried about him or something? But
yeah.
I like Rick Tocchet. I think he's a good coach, but I don't know. I don't think this team's. I think it's going to be like a mushy middle type of team. They don't know what they are yet. Are they going to be contenders? I think we talked about they were in the Western Conference Final one game last year.
They were a game away from the Western Conference Final.
Okay, so they were close. They were right there.
Yeah.
I don't see them getting back to that anytime soon. Unless Quinn Hughes absolutely takes the team on his back, which that's asking a lot for him because he already plays like 45 minutes a game, it seems like.
Yeah,
but
he's always out there.
I don't know what you do with those. These teams in the middle every season, it would get old to me. I hate this Hawks rebuild as much as anybody else, but you got to try something different. If you're going to be in the middle every year and getting middle picks,
it's
you're not
worse.
Better. It's like the St. Louis Blues. Like, you got old guys, you got some new guys, but it's like, is it really fun trying to make the playoffs and missing out and still being right in the middle and just getting bounced in the first round. If you make it, it would get old after a while.
Yeah.
Like the Islanders in the East, same thing.
Yeah.
You're not winning.
Yeah, it's almost like the Islanders. They'll like suck one year, and then the next year they make the playoffs. Then they suck one year,
just don't
and
get
then they
it.
make the playoffs again.
They got good players. Barzal, they got Bo Horvat, they got Sorokin. Sorokin is, I've been told he's the better Russian goalie out of all three of them, and he's just on a bad team. And like, imagine when he gets a good team. It's like, well, when are you going to be a good team for him? You know, you brought in Patrick Waugh to kind of change it up a little bit, and they're not. That's another team. I would have went all in if I were them at the deadline. New Jersey, they're not going to win. I would have started moving pieces and make the team better, but they're just. It could be the ownership, dude. They could have said, "Hey, we can't afford to do a rebuild. You got to try to retool this somehow for us, Lou." And it's just, I don't know if they're gonna make it. I like what Detroit's done. I think the Wings they're right there with Ottawa, but I feel like every
in the
night
mushy middle.
you're relying on Kaner, and I see Kane's getting 5 points as a 36-year-old now. It's like it's insane. And you got Larkin, who's a stud, the Cat doing his thing. You're welcome, Detroit. But it's just like, when are they going to take the next step? But it's going to be an interesting playoff. I can't wait. I'm so looking forward to this playoffs.
So do you think that Vancouver's going to do a sell-off?
I don't think they can, man. Because some teams just, they don't do the full rebuilds. They try to retool as they go, and you're in the mushy middle a little bit too long, and then it's by the time your studs like Quinn Hughes, it's like, okay, he's to the point where he's got 1 year left and he wants nothing to do with the team anymore.
Yeah,
it's a gamble. But I would blow it up, but I'd still keep Hughes.
How do you like motivate this dude? Where it's not that he needs motivation, but as in like, hey man, we're gonna tear this down a little bit and try and build it back up.
He ain't gonna be happy.
How do you sell that to him?
He ain't gonna be happy. I know this dude's competitive, probably like Jack and his other brother, but you gotta say, hey man, we aren't going anywhere. Let's try to do this. Let's try to get some young talent in here. We're gonna move some guys for picks and be patient with us, blah blah blah. And if he says nope, move him and get a complete haul for this guy. Someone will. I would gladly give whoever for that guy.
For Quinn?
Oh, absolutely. You want Nazar?
Man, he gets the injury bug though too.
Yeah, but he's worth it, dude. Like I said, that dude never leaves the ice, and he's got excellent vision, great skater. It's just a guy. It's him and Makar's league defensively.
Yeah.
These guys are the guys.
I would say that Zach Werenski is having the year of his career this year.
He's super underrated. Yeah.
Not to completely change the subject, because you did mention those two, but I think Werenski's having one of those years where people need to take notice, man. And honestly, I think he might win the Norris this year.
He should. This guy could score 25 goals too if he wanted to.
Yeah,
he's that type of guy too. Look at him. He's been on really bad teams too. But this team's just, you're rooting for him. The Blue Jackets, like with the bad stuff that happened at the beginning of the season, every year they have like a tragedy or something that just ruins like what the frick happened? Like they bring in Babcock and he does something stupid and kind of messed up the whole the whole thing of the training preseason thing, and then you had Johnny Hockey tragedy, and it's like, wow, how the hell are we going to play? And look at and
then the goalie.
Incredible.
Remember that goalie who died in the hot tub?
I forget his name, but every year it's something. And this year they're like, you know what, we're going to go out and win. And you got the young talent, some Russian kid, Kravachov, I think he's been good. Fantelli's good. And Elvis in net, he's a character. We were playing him. Remember, he came out of the net, sticks his glove out, he's flopping all over the place, but he's a gamer.
Yeah, he is.
But yeah, I'm rooting for those guys. Sean Monahan, his best friend died, and he's had to put some really good numbers up, like almost like his Flame days. So
I thought he was done when he left the Flames.
I thought he was done. Like I thought he was going to be done in Montreal, and he ended up signing to play with his best friend. And it's like, holy shit, that happens. And he's been really, really good. He's almost at 20 goals, I think.
What about Boston, man? It's like when they traded Marchand, they kind of traded their identity, and I don't see Pastrnak as taking the reins and being the next captain.
They got booed off the ice tonight. I read
Really?
something like they lost 6-2, I think, against Tampa, and they barely put any shots in the third period. The effort was horrible. You know what, man? That whole Swayman thing was set the tone of the season. I think like it's like, okay, this guy is not signing. This is our guy. Why is he not signing? Kid's taking care of himself. He wants to make sure he's secured for the future. And, that got ugly when the press conferences started happening. Like, the whole, I got 72 million reasons or 56 million reasons why he should play here, whatever it was. And
oh, yeah.
That was
and he's
like,
I didn't get a contract for 56 million.
It's kind of like an FU to the player and the agent. And that just set the tone, I think, dude.
Yeah.
And then you move your captain over. I don't think money was the issue. I think it was the term. They just didn't like the term. So they moved him, and it's like, whoa, that was a shock.
Yeah. It's kind of weird, man, like to see him in a Florida jersey. It's like, wait, what?
Kaner in the Rangers jersey.
Yeah.
It's going to be weird when Taves is signing with somebody.
No, don't even say that, dude.
I'm saying, it's like,
don't even say that.
It's gonna be
He's
bad.
practicing in his Hawks
He's
shorts.
practicing with Carcillo's kids. Pretty cool. Pretty cool for Carcillo to say, yeah, Taser's out there with my kids right now.
Can you imagine that,
It's
man?
crazy.
What a life. Oh, man.
Your old or broken phone can let you down, but at Verizon, trade in any old phone from our top brands and get iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence with a new line on My Plan and iPad and Apple Watch Series 10. After all, you don't want your old phone to die on you when you're lost.
Perfect.
Or for your broken phone to glitch at the worst possible time.
Hey, can I get your number? Oh.
Trade in your old phone for a brand new iPhone 16 Pro, iPad, and Apple Watch. Visit Verizon.com today. Additional terms apply. Service plan required for Apple Watch and iPad.
The Sharks, I think, have made some strides, but a lot of people are comparing Bedard and Celebrini. And I think that Bedard and Celebrini are two completely different types of players. One is more of a taser type of player, and the other one's more like Kaner. But do you think that Celebrini is going to stay in as a Shark?
Do I think he's going to stay?
Yeah.
Like a career?
In San Jose.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that San Jose is going to be a contender within like the next 4 years.
I think they're in the same boat as us, but I think he will stay. I think he really likes it. And he's gonna be the stud there for like Bedard's gonna be the stud here. What's not to like about that? I think he's gonna stay. Absolutely.
Okay. I saw an interesting post on Twitter that said that Celebrini might not want to stay.
It's the same with Bedard stuff. He's so unhappy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to play a little devil's advocate here.
No, he's not going anywhere. He's going to be taken care of. I think his family's he's close to Vancouver, I think, and it's a good spot, dude. I think it's good for him. He's going to be the stud there. They just need to build around him. Mike Gers, I think he's doing a good job. Davidson, I have my stuff that I don't like with him, and I have stuff I like. Spencer Knight deal, I loved it. I think that was a move in the right direction. Getting rid of Jones, big W. Well, big summer for him this year. Getting that coach with NHL experience, no nonsense. Set the tone early with these guys. That's big summer for me. I want to see the coach, and I want to see him spend a little cash. At least go for it. At least go for Mitch Marner. Try and that. Make it public too. Like, hey, yeah, I offered Mitch 6 years, whatever, and I'd like to see him be aggressive and not such a, oh, I'm a nice guy GM type of thing. No, get freaking ruthless, dude.
Yeah. Take a run at Mitch. Honestly, man, what scares me about Mitch is that he might want an 8-year deal.
I don't like that either, dude.
And I don't want him to, if he's asking for $14 million for 8 years. I don't know, dude. I would give him 14 for. I would give him 14 for
4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. The age sucks. It's how free agency goes. It's a gamble. You gotta pray you get more good years than bad. That's just it. It's a gamble.
I'm just kind of like what do we do? You know, because it's like you want to make that move, but what if you can't make that move? What if you have to do it with like the 8 years? You know, because
then it should be less term, in my opinion.
Okay. No, what I mean is that okay,
or less
so
less AV.
the fan base wants you to go after him. They want you to go after Mitch Marner. They want you to sign him. Okay. He wants 14.8. He's not signing for anything less than 14.8. And you're like, you know what? I want to protect the organization.
Yeah.
I don't think that is a good move. What happens if he says, all right, you know, and walks away from the table at that and starts getting fan hate? And he's like, hey, I don't want to do the 8 years.
No, I'm okay with that. I think if you go 8, you got to go down a little bit because you got to think about those 6, 7, 8 years. The 8th year, 13.5. Okay, the cap's going up. It doesn't look as bad.
Right.
But if you're gonna want top dollar 14, 15 million,
yeah.
I don't know if you can make it. I think the cap hits are usually all the same every year.
Yeah, they are.
But yeah, I would not like that. No.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
And I wouldn't blame Davidson for that. I would be happy that hey, I tried. The Hawks were we were like a choice for him. He considered us, but in the end, we pulled out because we didn't feel comfortable giving him that 8th year for 14.5 hit, whatever it was.
Right.
But we talked about this the other day. The Canes offered, they wanted him. They were, the rumor was they were going to send Rantanen over that way.
Yeah.
And they asked Mitch to waive his trade, and he said, no, I'm a Leaf. I'm playing with the Leaf. Brian Burke said he thinks that might have costed them more money because now they think he's expendable. And now Rantanen's locked up. So it's like, okay, Mitch is the top dog here that teams are going to go for. So a couple of the hosts said that one host, Dennis Bernstein, not Dan Bernstein, Dennis from the fourth period, he thinks he will consider Chicago because he's going to get paid big bucks.
Yeah.
So probably more than Toronto, too.
Yeah. So I made a post on Twitter and had a really interesting conversation with this one guy. We were talking about goalie mask. And one of them was, I think he says Dave Art does most of the goalie mask. Because I was like, hey, you know what? In the 90s, the goalie masks were awesome. Oh. You know, you had guys who were characters. You had Eddie the Eagle. You had Cujo.
Look at this guy's mask.
Hold on. Can you?
This guy back in the day.
Oh my god!
This is a
That's
90s
cool.
mask that I wore, and this is actually not even a painting. It's a sticker, and it's currently better than Spencer Knight's helmet.
Yeah, it is.
So
yeah,
I mean, I got some stories. This was a slap shot senior year or freshman year from a senior.
Wow.
Who scared the shit out of me, and I almost consider not playing goalie ever again. But I mean, yes, I agree. The masks are horrible now. And
they are.
Yeah.
You know,
give me Jeff Hackett's mask all day.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
I actually posted about that, man.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, you know, it was like the mask, but it had the headdress on it. I'm like, man.
Oh, God.
And you know what? That was right after Belfour left. So it was like, dude, this is what's his mask going to be? And it was the headdress. I was like, freaking awesome. So
Tebow too. Jocelyn Tebow's mask.
Yeah.
Early 2000s, very good mask. Loved it.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. So I think the masks are sucking these days. I think that Spencer Knights was probably a it was probably like a quick job. Like, hey man, I need a new mask. I'm on a new team. But I kind of think that like when Eddie was wearing his red one with the Sharks and his red gear, I thought that went hard with the teal.
Yeah.
And it looks cool, man, when a goalie gets traded.
It did look
looked
good.
Really good.
Honestly,
man.
his color with the Leafs, the blue eagle, looked good too. I really like that one.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, and even his Sharks with normal Sharks, the teal color, I thought that looked good. Dallas looked, honestly, the eagle looks good with any color.
It looks good with all of them.
You could put him on the Atlanta Thrashers and he's going to look like a stud. So that was one of the Lions list. Spencer Knight, thumbs up or thumbs down? That's a thumbs down for me, bud.
Thumbs down. I think that hopefully he does something like as a character, like a Knight's mask, even if it doesn't match Blackhawks colors, if it's just black or something, man, it would be awesome.
Do like the city with like a knight on there with Hawks colors, something, or put some like feathers on the knight or something. Anything's better than the Florida Panthers mask he has to wear too. But he went back to it because he didn't like it. It wasn't broken in.
His mask?
Yes, the new mask. Dude, goalie masks are so tight right away. Like your head will like throb. And I remember I had to break in my high school mask when I broke my other one I just showed you.
Did he take it off like in the middle of the game?
He did. Yeah, he went back to the Florida Panther mask because it was more comfortable. So it takes time. That's this mask he's got to. I think he'll make a couple next year, maybe a couple over the summer, and he'll change it up. Goalie's kind of got a couple of them.
That's cool. Number 2, Korchinski up or down for the remainder of the season? I'm saying leave him down in the A.
Yeah, at this point, like, there's no point. I would love to see him come up, and I know Bedard and him kind of are close. I'd like to see him up, but yeah, he's probably better off staying down playing meaningful games.
Fishbowl, number 3. Fishbowl or cage? I'm going to go with fishbowl.
So, this guy. So, I wore a fishbowl once, and I hated it. It kept fogging up. I'm a cage guy.
Okay.
But the chirps, my brother-in-law used to tell me in his junior league he played for, he said that he had a fishbowl on, and they'd be like, "Look at this fishy over here," and then he switched to the cage, and they're like, "Oh, look, he's too much of a pussy to wear a visor. He's got a bird cage on." Tweet, tweet, tweet. Like he's like, "You can't win." So I'm a bird cage guy, just not the Dominic Hasek bird cage. I hate it.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the fishbowl. Organ music or DJ sets? Now, I'm going to go with the organ, unless it's like after the game, but I'm going to go with the organ during the game.
Organ all day. Give me Frank Pellico all day. This current shit is awful. And bring back Metallica at hockey games. None of this stupid rap shit.
They don't play Metallica anymore?
No, they don't play rock. During like warm-ups and stuff, like it was like rock music, alternative music. Now it's like I feel like I'm at like a Blade rave song techno show. I think like vampires are gonna come out of the walls. I hate it.
Like Blade?
Yeah, I hate it. This is like the sprinklers are gonna be blood. Like, come on, man, give me some rock.
Hey, you know what, man? That's one of the best scenes, man.
It's good. Yeah, but it's a hockey game.
I got it.
Give me some.
I remember when I saw that as a kid. I went to the movies and I was like, "What is this? This is awesome!" And everybody talked about this song afterwards.
Well, just picture yourself. You're dressed up. You got your hair slicked back. You're ready to go into warm-ups. You're leaving the tunnel. You're going on the ice, knocking the pucks over, and Filter "Hey Man, Nice Shot" comes on, like with a good bass. But now it's like you got this rap stuff. Come on, man.
Nice shot.
Just the bass alone would just pump you up like that's stuff I miss.
Said, "Hey man, nice shot."
Yeah, Seether.
Number 5, overpriced green beer or overpriced hockey stick beer.
This guy's on tonight.
I will go with the overpriced hockey stick beer. I've never been much of a St. Patrick's Day guy, man, because it's kind of like New Year's. You know, when New Year's comes, you go out, nothing big happens. When you go out for St. Patty's Day, you're drinking green beer, and it's like, all right, you know, this isn't really that big of a deal, you know?
Yeah, I don't give a shit about that green beer. Just give me a green hat I could throw out when Tony Amani gets a hat trick. No, I guess I'll take the stick beer because I could fill it up with something cool and put it on my wall or something. I don't
Sure.
Yeah.
Are people tired of talking Rantanen yet? Yes.
Yes.
I'm glad it's over.
Yep.
What a saga. Well, you know what, man? That was probably the saga that the NHL needed for the trade deadline, because until he got signed, nothing was happening. You know, it's almost like the NHL world themselves were watching it and seeing what was going on.
Well, I think what's great is he went to Dallas.
Yeah.
And these guys, they're going to probably run into each other, Dallas and Colorado in the playoffs, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the story. Oh, they got rid of Rantanen. Now he's facing Rantanen. It's going to be, is Rantanen going to put them away? They gave up on him. Like, it's going to be blown up all over again.
And watch, Nick just does it in overtime.
Yeah, he might just show up and he'll probably have his Carolina Hurricanes jersey in his bag still. Like, oh shoot, I forgot I gotta play actually. So yeah, I'm very sick of it.
Your old or broken phone can let you down, but at Verizon, trade in any old phone from our top brands and get iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence with a new line on My Plan and iPad and Apple Watch Series 10. After all, you don't want your old phone to die on you when you're lost.
Perfect.
Or for your broken phone to glitch at the worst possible time.
Hey, can I get your number? Oh.
Trade in your old phone for a brand new iPhone 16 Pro, iPad, and Apple Watch. Visit Verizon.com today. Additional terms apply. Service plan required for Apple Watch and iPad.
Number 7, yay or nay, pre-game horn gimmick with celebrities.
Is that like when Roenick before the game, like former players? Is that what you're asking?
That's what it said.
I think it's kind of cool. And like if it's a former Hawk, I like it, but not like a celebrity like I don't know, you know, like some Hollywood loser or something.
Like DJ Oreo or
DJ,
whatever
yeah, exactly. Like give me Savvy, Chelly, Savard, Eddie, something like that.
Dan, number 8, Dan Bernstein Fishgate. So if you're unaware, Dan Bernstein is this guy on 670 The Score. He has the Napoleon complex, and he doesn't like to be called Bernsey unless you know him that way. And recently he posted a picture on Twitter of him with the fish.
Good catch.
Yeah, and he said that he let it go and not to question his conservatism. And he goes, and it swam away like a rocket, and other people are saying that he didn't. And then so he proceeds to talk shit to this guy on Twitter about like, hey man, you know, like I know where you live or some shit like that. He says, and then he started bringing in the guy's kids. Did you see that?
I didn't know he brought in his kids. What
he was
frick,
like,
dude?
"Want to bring your kids into this or something like that?" Like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy, man?
Dude, that whole station has gone downhill like for a decade ago. I used to listen to them on the way to Les Grobstein. I liked him. He was like an old school guy. He was early in the morning on my way to work, and Bernstein would be on the way home with Boris, a Mokina guy. He lives in Mokina, actually. I don't. That's crazy. I don't know what to say to that, but that's the second thing he had this year. The whole thing with Eddie from Barstool, like, don't call me Bernstein, like. Oh yeah, I don't know. What do you even say? Like, what's going to happen to him? Probably nothing because I
don't know how this guy takes himself so seriously. You know,
I feel like the score is literally Bears. Like they'll talk about Bears for the rest of the year, and there's other sports teams they don't even give a shit about.
Yeah,
and the Hawks are one of them, unless they're in the Stanley Cup final. But I think he seems a little upset with people like us, like we're
yeah.
podcasters just having fun.
Yeah.
But that's what people like now. They don't
Yeah.
want to listen to the radio and listen to guys treat their callers like shit, be sarcastic and pretend like they know it all. And then you look at these guys, they can't play sports. They were picked last in gym. They were the first ones eliminated in dodgeball, with the hot girl laughing as she gets hit with the ball because she's the next one eliminated. But those are the guys that are eliminated first. These score guys, and it's like, okay, you're gonna talk about sports. You're gonna question effort. You're gonna tell us your takes and what you think they should have done or whatever. And it's like, have you looked at yourself? You don't look athletic at all. So that's my take on the score. And I just don't like how they treat callers.
Yeah.
Like, these guys are actually, they like you. And you're going to, like, just laugh at them. And I would never listen again if I called, hey guys, I like the show. Yeah, whatever. What's your question? Type of thing, I'd be like, hang up, see you later. I can't believe people still listen, honestly.
Yeah. A lot of, I saw a few comments saying that the score went down right around when COVID hit. And that they just went completely downhill at that point.
Yeah, they're pretty political too. They're whatever. You are what you are, but it's like people will listen to politic talk if they wanted to. They're here for sports. They don't give a shit what you think, and that's a lot of Hawks beat writers as well. Like, we don't care. Report on the Hawks. We know you don't like this. We know you don't like that. Shut up. Write about the Hawks. And they've gotten to the point where, like, that whole thing blew up in the middle of the winter, where people were like, "You guys are ridiculous, and you guys are destroying the whole integrity of journalism. Get out of here, dude! You guys you went to school for 4 years, and this kid's doing it better than you.
Yeah,
and he's 19, so you should rethink your career."
Yeah, I agree, man. It's like when these dudes start being like gatekeepers for who can talk about, the Blackhawks or their team or not.
Yeah.
They completely lose me with that shit.
Yeah, I don't follow any of them. I can't anymore.
Number 9, what is the worst game day giveaway?
Hard hats?
Yeah.
If you get a hat, you got to throw that thing, and that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt somebody.
Yeah, I'd probably say anything that Jamie Faulkner's come up with. Number 10, what age is it okay to still be playing video games? And this is what concludes the Lions list.
Wow.
I still play video games. I think you should be able to play video games until the day you die.
I mean, I like them, but I don't have the time, so I guess I'll say...
What if you had the time? I was like, hey, Matt, let's go shoot some zombies.
Like, if your kids are playing the same game as you, you might want to rethink your video game stuff, I think. I don't know. I guess 30? 30, I don't know, 32?
32? How old are you?
I'm 38.
Okay.
I haven't played in a while, so... But I enjoy, like, if someone had a hockey game going, I'd like to give it a try, because I like the 3-on-3 stuff.
Yeah. I played the NHL 25. It's not bad.
So my last NHL EA game was Austin Matthews was on the cover.
Okay.
It was 20. So, okay. And it was fun. I remember.
Yeah, it was a good one.
My cousin Jay, he got it, and we had like we call it like the club mode, and you play 3-on-3 versus other people. And
I played with you guys a couple times.
It's fun. It was fun, and I used to tell Jay, like, hey, dude, I don't care if we win. I'm on it for the mic, because I just like hearing what he had to say. Like, who the fuck does that not go in? Like, I thought it was comical. So, yeah, I guess for a Lion, I guess I'll say 35.
Okay.
35, yeah.
Well, I'm 42.
So you got a lot of growing
on 43,
up to do, my friend.
And I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
So that's up to you, Lion. That's up to you, man.
What's your username, Lion? Because we know you're on. You're in some Fortnite world right now, aren't you?
All right, everybody. That's all that we got for you this week. We're gonna turn this game back on, and we will. If you guys have anything you want to send us, send us a message. We'll put it in the podcast. We'll talk about it. If there's any subjects that you want to talk about, like players coming up, prospects, draft is going to be coming up, big trades, free agents. This isn't a really big free agent class coming up this season, but we can dig into it. But anyways, that's all that we got for you this week. You guys take it easy. This is the Tomahawk. We're out of here.
Your old or broken phone can let you down, but at Verizon, trade in any old phone from our top brands and get iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence with a new line on My Plan and iPad and Apple Watch Series 10. After all, you don't want your old phone to die on you when you're lost.
Perfect.
Or for your broken phone to glitch at the worst possible time.
Hey, can I get your number? Oh.
Trade in your old phone for a brand new iPhone 16 Pro, iPad, and Apple Watch. Visit Verizon.com today. Additional terms apply. Service plan required for Apple Watch and iPad.